So in this video, we're going to show you how to grow vegetable plants from seeds. It's not that hard. You just need the right things and the right techniques. So we basically have everything we need right here to start growing these vegetable plants. We have our seeds down here. We got some soil to pot them in. We got a seed starter kit to put that soil and seeds in. We got a heat mat here to help germination, which means when the seeds sprout into actual little plants. And then once they are little plants, a growing light here indoors to help them start out and get big and strong before we put them outside. So let's talk through each of these pieces and get our seeds started. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is your seeds. Now you can get seeds from a variety of places. You can get them from your local greenhouse, although they might have more standard ones. I recommend the Seed Savers Exchange. They have a lot of cool varieties you might not find in the local greenhouse. Like I have some Mall's Red Hot Peppers here, fish peppers, or even cherry tomatoes. Those are all cool. So once you have your seeds, you gotta decide how you're gonna start them and when. So how is indoor or outdoor? Most of this stuff you're gonna need to start indoor, although you can look at some of these like green beans here, like these Empress beans. If you look on the back here, instructions say you can sow them outside after the danger frost is passed. So for me, I'm in North Carolina. Frost will be well past by mid to late April. You can start those outside. Similar with cucumbers. But for hot peppers especially, even sweet peppers or tomatoes, you're gonna want to start them indoors. Get them germinated on a heat pad. We'll talk about in a second, and grow them under an LED light to get them nice and strong before you get them outside. That typically takes about 8 weeks. So in your area, you can look up when is the last frost typically. You can Google that and back up 8 weeks ahead of that and start these inside. That way you'll have nice strong plants once you're past the risk of frost to put outside and start growing some strong vegetables and get the maximum yield for the season. So for soil, I use this Miracle-Gro potting mix. A lot of people will tell you for optimal germination of seeds, you should have a seed starter mix, which tends to be more like a mulch or a compost that's light and airy and really optimizes oxygen, drainage, and that really helps get your seeds going. I don't disagree with that, but that stuff's more expensive. In my experience, though, if you have a good, the right amount of moisture and a good heat pad underneath, this stuff works great. And then it also has some fertilizer in it for once you have some seedlings growing to help them really accelerate the growth from there. So I'm going to use some Miracle-Gro potting mix. All right, so next what we're going to do is prep our soil. So the soil is relatively dry. What we want to do is we have some water here. We're going to add some water, not too much. We don't want it to get all soggy and damp. We're going to put some in there and we're going to mix it up. We're going to mix it up for a while to get it nice and evenly moist. All right, so we've mixed up the soil with the water. You can see it sits nice and moist, but it's not overly wet or clumpy. So now that's ready. We're gonna put it into our seed starter kit right here. All right, so we're gonna take our seed starter kit right here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of fill it with the soil. It's not a lot of rocket science here. We're just gonna kind of evenly spread it out. Now what you can do here is get it kind of filled in, pack it in, and what you want is you want to be able to touch it and see how I can touch it and press it in right here, and there's still plenty of space. You don't want to like smash down, but if you put a little bit of pressure with the index fingers or thumb, that's okay, and then you're gonna fill some more in. Okay, so we have our soil packed, and what you can see is press lightly to the touch here. It's pretty solid. What you don't want is it's so loose that when you push down on this, it sinks way in. Because if you did that, once you seed it and water it, the water is going to do the same thing and sink way in. It'll be half full. So we got these ready to go. We got some black cherry tomato seeds right here. We're going to plant these about a 1/4 inch down. So I have a little spade type tool right here. I'm just going to dig myself a little hole. You can almost put them on the top and kind of push them in as well. But I'm going to prep the dirt with a little hole. Now what I'd say is a lot of people will tell you, especially with certain types of plants or vegetable plants, they're harder to get to germinate. You can put a couple per. I'll do one. If 2 falls in there, no big deal. Because what you can do is if there's 2, once they actually germinate and sprout, you can take out, one of the seedlings, the least healthy one, just kind of pull it out and then leave the strong one to grow. So I think we are good there, and all you're gonna do is go a quarter inch down. You're gonna simply tap down the earth. And what you're gonna wanna do too is make sure that you mark these things with what you put in each one, else you're gonna forget really quickly. So a lot of these kits start with this. I have my black cherry tomatoes, I have the date on it. Stick that right there. I'm gonna do another one for right here, and I'm gonna go down the way with the rest of my varieties. Okay, so we're now done planting all our seedlings. You can see those first black cherries I did are here. Then we need some more traditional larger sized tomatoes. Then we got some fish peppers. We got some Mod Red Hot Spicy peppers. And then here we got some Italian peppers, mini bell peppers. Here I ran out of things, but we have serranos and cherry peppers. So these are all planted. Now let's get them on the heat pad. All right, so now we have our seed starter kits on the heat pad. You can feel here, I plugged it in a few minutes ago. It's getting warm. Plugged into the wall right here. And so these are gonna germinate here. Now, what you can do, although you made sure the soil is pretty moist when we mix it all together, is just give it a good misting. This is a bottle of water. I can do that to each of them. Make sure that we got plenty of moisture on the top. That's gonna kind of encourage our germination without getting too crazy wet. And essentially, depending on the variety, these can start to sprout. I mean, you're gonna see a plant coming out of the earth here, anywhere from 5-6 days. Some of them take up to 14 days. Your typical vegetable, the seed packet will tell you, but you're gonna leave them on the seed pad, let them germinate there. Once they start to come up, they're gonna start to need natural sunlight, and that's where this guy's gonna come in. This is it's a LED plant light. It's gonna give it the right kind of nutrients from the light. So we're gonna let these sit here until all the sprouts start to come up, and then we're gonna transfer these containers underneath this light. This light's programmed to run for about 16 hours a day, which is optimal when you're first getting started, and that's gonna help your plants grow. So it's been 8 days since we planted, and what you can see here, we've got a lot of nice little sprouted veggie plants coming in. Even here where some of the ones that are closer to the 12 to 14 day germination, you can see they're coming up. Even over here, the two little ones coming up, most of them are there. But I'd say it's out of 36 slots here, the only one that does not yet have any sort of sprout is right here. So that's 35 of 36. And given that we're only at 8 days and some of these don't tend to sprout usually till closer to 12, we might end up with a perfect 36 out of 36. So hopefully that helps you see how to grow vegetables from seeds. Now, this is just the start of the journey. From here, they're gonna go into a bigger indoor pot, still under the lights, before we eventually harden them, which means the process of getting them used to being outside and then repotting them outside in some big planters. So we'll post some more videos along the way to show you how to accomplish those steps.